Hello, welcome to Crafting Kitty. My name is Erin, and it's Saturday, so it's time for my weekly roundup. It is late today because we had a birthday party, and I just didn't get it filmed before we went. So here we are. But first we're going to start with day 9 of my Ellie Crafts and More stitch set. This is the fall colors. And she's linked down below if you're interested in any of her stitch sets. They have been wonderful. So what does day 9 have for us? This is exciting. Like, I'm actually doing these orderly, so I'm kind of surprised we're on day 9 already. Let's see what it is. Oh, that's cute. It's like a metal stamped leaf or feather. I think it's a leaf. And then it's got fall colored beads on it. And then, but it's on a, I was going to say it's on a card with a leaf, but it's also a leaf and a feather. I don't know. You tell me down below if you think that's a leaf or a feather. Comment down below, as Bingo says. So this is beautiful. I'm going to leave it on the backing here because my stitch marker set is buried under whips right now. So I'll get to that later. I don't have a whole ton of stuff to show you. Today, actually, I should backtrack. What is my weekly roundup? Well, my weekly roundup is where I go through my weekend crafting, and sometimes we talk about the books I'm reading, but I have forgotten to grab my book, so we'll just skip it this week. So I show you any whips, works in progress, or FOs, finished objects I have. Let's start with FOs. I have been working on granny squares, so I'm gonna make 17 granny squares. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 done here. This is, if you're interested in hearing why I'm making these, go check out Laura at Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming. She will tell you all about why people are making and sending 17 granny squares. It's her double duck dare. So I've got 8 done, halfway there. Almost halfway there. And I will get those sent out when they're done. And as a work in progress, I actually have 1 more completed. I just haven't woven in the ends. So I'm not going to call that complete just yet. I also made another washcloth. This is for the American Starfish. And it is an association, a group that works with homeless veterans. Makes tiny homes. They have like washing stations. Heather from Strings and Threads was doing her Scrubby Sunday, and they contacted her to see if she'd be interested in sharing some of the washcloths she made. She of course put the call out. They are collecting handmade washcloths for body. They're not looking for pot scrubbies or anything like that. Through November 11th, Veterans Day, and they will be distributing them in the tiny homes at the wash station. They're going to use them for good. So I have been using it to practice Tunisian crochet. This week I followed a tutorial. This one was by Mikey from the Crochet Crowd, and it was for a Tunisian knit stitch washcloth. This one is very, 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 very bendy. Hey bud, what's up?
I have a question.
What's your question?
Have I been super good today?
You've been very good today. Where is this going?
So then I can order pies.
You want your DJ set. What did Papa say?
Oops.
Did Papa say no?
I forgot to tell him.
You forgot to ask him? Okay. Never know if it's still Let's Play Papa Off a Mama game. Okay, so this was a Tunisian knit stitch washcloth tutorial by Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. It is curling like crazy. This is such an incredibly thick stitch. So I did make a Tunisian bag, and I think we did the Tunisian knit stitch for the body of the bag, because I remember this texture on the back and thinking I was doing it wrong. So, but here it is. This is an incredibly thick washcloth. I'm not doing this one again. But it was good to do because the whole point is to practice, and I do like the way it turns out. It really looks knit, and you've got what looks like the pro bumps on the back, but the pro bumps are what's making it want to turn. I did do a round of single crochets, but I thought it made it look kind of bad, so I stopped. And it's a washcloth. This, I think, is kind of on the border of something acceptable to send. I am going to send it because I do think it is going to make a very nice washcloth. Like, it's nice and smooth on this side. It's nice and textured on this side. I think it's a good washcloth. It's just not the prettiest that I've made. The final finished object I have is the other mitten. So I have finished Bingo's mittens. I used this free pattern from Ravelry, Mrs. Murdoch's mittens.
Dad said no, but Dad said that you would be the one to decide.
Okay, buddy. Okay, so this is Mrs. Murdoch's mittens from Brenda K.B. Anderson. It'll be linked down below. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. It has like small child, regular child, so it's got preschool, older kids, and women's sizes. So it comes with preschool, older kids, and women's sizes. It wants you to use a 4mm crochet hook and 4-weight yarn. I tried it, it was way too stiff. I went up to a 4.5mm hook. It's still quite stiff, but I think it'll be warm for her. But I also had to go down. So this is the preschool size mitten made with a 4.5 inch. That would be a crazy 4.5mm crochet hook, which I think is a G+. But there you go. I made it. Those are my finished objects. All the patterns are going to be linked down below. That's the washcloth tutorial if you are interested. And yeah, that's what I got for you. In the works in progress, I already showed you this. The hat, the knit hat from that Noro yarn. I remembered to grab it this time. So the yarn is Noro Mirai. If you can see it, Mirai. It is 40% cotton, 25% silk, 25% viscose, and 10% polyamide, which I did verify is nylon. So what happened was, nylon used to be the trademarked DuPont name for the fiber, but it's been kind of generalized, you know, like Kleenex as a facial tissue, stuff like that. So now you know, that was in the Vogue knitting book. I started reading. So here's what I have left of that little cake of yarn. This is how far I am on the knit hat. I think it looks so cool knit. I'm just doing a simple, I did a simple 2x2 rib for the, I was going to say collar. That's not collar. You know, that part. The band, maybe. And now I'm doing the body of the hat. And we move on. We'll see when that's done. I don't know. I'm kind of going slow on that. I've also started the next project in my Mary Maxim yarn review series. I'm not sharing too much about that because we'll talk about that when the yarn review comes out. And then, okay, I have my sock. I've continued working on Bingo's fruit sock. So here we are, finished the cuff, and I'm like almost 10 rounds into the leg portion, and then I move to the heel flap and turn and all that good stuff. So moving along, this I'm using Premier Fruits sock yarn. The pattern is a mix between the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla socks on 9-inch circulars and the when you look at the yarn, there's a pattern called Kids Knit Socks on Premier.com. I've kind of smushed those two patterns together and I'm working with it. It's turning out nice. She's happy. That's all that matters. I've got my bag from Queen's Crafts by Bridget. This is the 100 gram bag. It's basically designed to hold 100 gram hank and like nothing more. But I'm using 50 gram hank and I've shoved a lot of other stuff in it. It works. My needles are my Clover Takumi US 2. When I need the DPNs, I have my ChowGoo stainless steel US 2 DPNs. And there you go. I'm working away. The stitch markers are just cheap ones I found on Amazon one day. What else am I doing? I did some work on my CNC cowl. This is a kit I got from Mountain Meadow Wool. CNC cowl by Mickey Martin. It's cute, it's fun. I've got a paper stuck in there so I can keep notes of where I'm at in the pattern. So that's what this weird thing sticking out is. So I'm this far in. Isn't it pretty? It is gorgeous. I am really going to enjoy this. This is fun. So the kit comes with 250 gram hanks of the yarn. It's the Mountain Meadow Wool Touch of the West, made in Buffalo. Okay, it's the Green River hand dyed in the colorway Canyon. This is a 2-ply fingering weight. It's 50% bamboo and 50% mountain merino wool, which is their kind of trademarked blend of merino wools. It is so pretty. They had this in a number of colorways. I went with Canyon, and I think it's going to be lovely. Here again, I'm using the kit. You can buy either with or without the needles from them. Comes with the yarn, the bag, the pattern. And then you can either opt to get the needles or not get the needles. I had the needles, so I didn't get them. But I'm using Clover Takumi US 9 5.5 millimeter, which is larger needles than I would normally use for fingering weight yarn, but I think it's working out beautifully. It's what the pattern calls for. And it's 29-inch ones if you're curious. The pattern called for a slightly different size circ, but 29 is what I had, so 29 is what I use. Final thing I can show you is my Hugs and Kisses shawl. This is the shawl I am making for the Crafting Kitty Creator Spotlight. This month we are spotlighting crochet with Tiffany Hansen. So basically people make projects based on Tiffany's patterns or tutorials. She has a website. She's got a lot of patterns there. And they send me pictures and we share them and then we have a giveaway. I make an item as one of the prizes for the giveaway. This is her Hugs and Kisses shawl. She does have a YouTube tutorial for it. She uses Scarfy. I am using puzzle yarn. And here it is. I am nearly done. So I actually would be done based on my measurements. So normally I make a scarf or a shawl until it reaches my wingspan. However, I measured it. And the one she makes, she says reaches 70 inches, 70. This is 5 inches short of 70 inches. So, no, it's not 5 inches. It's nearly 10 inches. This is at about 60 inches. Because it's my wingspan. No? My wingspan would be bigger. I'm confused. Anyway, I figured I'm going to do 3 to 5 more repeats of the pattern. It's only a 3-row repeat. It's not. This is one pattern repeat. So from here to here, it's roughly 1.5 inches. So it's not a ton to do. I just didn't think. So I tried it on. I think this one's going to be worn kind of more like a kerchief style, and I just didn't think it was quite long enough to wrap around the way I would like a kerchief style one to go, so I'm going to keep going. And I also didn't quite think it was deep enough. I didn't quite like the depth. So, yeah, we keep going on that. Not too, but it's not going to be too much longer on it. The colorway I'm using here is Riddle. It's the blues and grays. Yeah. Oh, she did in her tutorial say you should use a 5-weight yarn. To me, Scarfy is more of a 4-weight yarn when I've used it, but it does say it's a 5-weight. So she wanted to use a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook with what she was saying was a 5-weight yarn. I tried it with this. I didn't like it. It was far too stiff, far too dense. This yarn asks for a 6 millimeter, so I tried that and I was happier with it. I think if I had it to do all over again, I would go up to a 6.5 millimeter hook. I think that would be a little looser and drapier for a shawl, but I think this will be very nice and I think it looks pretty. I think it's nice. I wouldn't give something away that I thought was not good. You know what I mean. Yeah, oh! So that's what I have in my whips and FOs. I did do the pull it from the stack this week, because a lot's been accumulating there. So this is basically, I send a bunch of stuff to the printer. And then every once in a while I remember to grab it and haul it up here. So let's see what I decided was important enough to send to the printer. The Hobby Horizon blanket. I have been wanting to make this blanket for a very long time. Ever since the first time I ordered from Hobby, which was just before I started this YouTube channel. I have the yarn for this blanket in the closet. So when I finally re-accessed the closet, I thought it was time to print the blanket pattern. So I have it. And then I printed it and I read it and I realized I think it's just a moss stitch. That's okay. Okay, what else do I have here? Oh, I apparently printed this again. This was a knit dress that I wanted to make for bingo. It's called Shades of Summer. That's free on Ravelry by Lamina Nodel, N-O-D-E-L. Shades of Summer dress. This is free on Hobby. So I got one of those again. I'm not sure why I would have printed that again. That's silly. Then I printed this Sunset Sleeveless Tunic. Rural Paradise Collection Sugar Bush Cabot. It says it's marked experienced. It is a knit, lacy, kind of tank tunic. That looks cute. I think I got that to use. Maybe that, I got that Sparkle Kobu, or is it Trubu, from Hirschner's. I think that was my idea for this. What is Sugar Bush? It's a light 3. I think that might have been it. Have kids, they said. It would be fun, they said. Okay, so the next thing I got was a hat from Ross, from Smells Like Yarn, Smells Great Guy. The Swirl by Ross Rochester hat. This was actually on, I found it on Ravelry under Ross's profile, but it linked to a Hobium pattern. And I just thought it was a cute hat. I was gonna get his new hat, the double layered one. And I was looking at it, and I was kind of like, I don't know how much interest I necessarily have in a fully double layered hat. Sorry, Ross. So yeah, I didn't get that, but I saw this one while I was there and thought that looks cool, so I grabbed that. And then, for reasons, I found the Heatherstone shawl from Moogly Blog. It's Tamara Kelly, and it was a free pattern on her blog, and I quite liked it. I'm still deciding. I don't know that this is the shawl I'm going to make next month, but it is, it's a contender. It's a heavy contender. And I feel like, did it just print an extra page, or is there like a one page? Nope, just printed a little page with a copyright on it. So those are the patterns from the stack. I am excited to have access to the closet so I can make my moss stitch blanket. I have made a moss stitch blanket. I got that that really thick furry yarn from Joann's, and Bingo wanted a blanket out of it. And then I made the blanket, and it was a struggle. I had to keep remaking it because it was worming on me. And I ended up on a moss stitch, and it worked beautifully. But then she didn't want it. But luckily, Chomps really liked it, so he took it. Oh, the trials. Okay, I've been all over the place. I'm going to just end it here and try to edit it together. I will see you guys later. Bye!